Welcome everyone to Museum of Glass. Today is our part of our Sunday visiting artists lecture series. My name is Jabari Owens Bailey. I work here as curatorial education program manager, and I am just going to introduce you very quickly to Kwun Lan Wong, who's here doing her residency. She said in her residency plans, I am planning to create 3 hot sculpted works during my residency. These pieces are inspired by Lo Ting, a mythological character that is half fish and half human, representing the struggles of the people of Hong Kong. We don't fully belong to either the colonial past or China. We spend our lives searching for a place to call home. My goal is to present the Lo Ting series in as many public studios as possible to ensure that the identity of Hong Kong is not forgotten over time and societal changes. Kwun Lan Wong, a glassblower from Hong Kong, discovered her passion for this art form while finishing her bachelor's in visual arts at Hong Kong Baptist University. After graduation, she worked as a studio assistant at the same university, taking on various responsibilities such as teaching, studio management, teaching material management, and equipment repair. She later pursued a master's degree in glass at Southern Illinois University, where she honed her skills in hot sculpting. Her figures manifest the words left unsaid in intimate relationships to avoid communicating verbally. Self-disclosure is a crucial part of any intimate relationship. In her culture, revealing your true thoughts is dangerous and exposes your weakness. This personal dichotomy is made public in her glass sculptures, while her insecure feelings and complex thoughts hide behind the figures. She explores another aspect of her cultural identity as a Hong Kong artist. Hong Kong's identity is neither British nor Chinese. In her work, she repurposed the figure of Lo Ting, a half-fish, half-human mythological character that doesn't belong to sea or land, as a metaphor for the ambiguous feelings of Hong Kongese people. Let us put our hands together and welcome Kwun Lan Wong.
How do I play this? Okay, thank you. Hi, you hear me? Okay. Uh, Thank you so much for having me here. I am born and raised in Hong Kong, which, as you can see, that's a very busy city. It's a tiny, tiny spot on the map that you cannot even find it in a world map, but it holds 7.5 million residents in various nationality. It has changed a lot throughout the last couple of years, but this is a place that I always call home. Here where I studied, I went to school in Hong Kong Baptist University in Academy of Visual Arts. There is something about this place that I knew I have to go study here when I was in high school. In 2012, the government was trying to take over this campus and sell it for money. But the thing that people didn't know is this campus is actually built in 1934. It's a Grade 1 historical building in Hong Kong because it's a former Royal Air Force station. But government can just take it over, raise our rent for 5 times. If you cannot pay, there's no use for this place, so they can sell it. Teachers and students are so pissed about it, and they go for protests, they sell their artworks, they raise money to fund the program, and we got the campus back in 2013, and then the government agreed in renting this place for us for 10 more years. So we still have this place right now. It is this event that make me realize I want to go here because I adore that relationship between the people and the place. I want to know what makes them feel that strong of sense of belonging. They feel like they belongs to this place so much that they are willing to do so many things just to get this place back. So I went here and I spent 4 years there. I got my bachelor degree in visual arts. I originally do mainly metal sculptures. My sculptures usually related to environment and space and how you cut metal and stuff like that. To be very honest, I didn't really know what I was doing when I was still in undergrad. Um, and I got this note from my mentor when I graduate. He said, action creates inspiration. This is a note that I still have it with me. Whenever I feel lost and I don't know what to do, I just get on moving because action is always the first steps to do anything else. And as you can see, glass didn't take much place in my study. I never thought of having glass as my career because when I was still in school, there's only one hot shop, one place you can do glass in Hong Kong. I know when I graduated, I would never be able to find a place to work with it. Even just keep it as a hobby is impossible. So I never thought of going to this direction. But it's almost like a miracle. The year that I graduated, the one and only glass technician in school retired. And then he asked me to take over his job. And someone opened up a small public studio in Hong Kong. So I have a spot to work again. And as I take over this job, I only know how to make a very chunky cup. I was not good at glass because I never dedicated into it. So throughout my years there, I learned everything based on YouTube and notes and books that I can find, look into every single manual, send a lot of stupid emails out there to manufacturer just to ask them, why do they build equipment like that? So how do I actually understand it? Am I doing it right? This is how I learned from era, from working, and I spent 2 years there to get my foundation of glass working there. And as I worked full-time in that university as a technician and teaching assistant, I worked part-time on the weekends teaching in the public studio for like make your own classes, and I do production in that same studio at night. I saved up enough money so I can travel and come to United States and learn from the people I used to research on YouTube. I learned a lot from these people, not only from the instructors, but also the people in the class. Because back home, I was technically not allowed to have my own blow slots. I was not allowed to actually turn equipment on just for my practice. So I work alone. I do not have any assistants. I cannot have like equipment like this to work with. I work with only one furnace, a map gas, and a pickup oven, a small little kiln. So being able in this class, meeting all these people and learning from people, working with different people is very valuable lesson for me, especially in my very early on learning journey. So after all these classes, go back to home, I started to make my own hot sculpting pieces. This is my second or third pieces that I try to make, struggling with a leg on a pipe and then running over and pick stuff up. If you know how to like work this, you know there's a lot of struggle in there. And as you can see, I have to sandblast everything. It's like foggy everywhere because I use map gas. I don't have oxygen in my torch. I burned every single glass that I work with. I don't have enough money. I cannot put color on it. So most of it to just stay clear. The only color I can afford is white and black. But technical-wise, looking back at this piece, it's very naive. But this is a piece that has a very special place in my heart. It is one of the pieces that I still have it, even I moved to another country. I make this work because that was the year that I had to get back to my anxiety medication after a whole year break. And going back to medication, it makes me, it's, make it make it hard for me to feel emotion, and I feel ashamed if I do feel emotion after I taking all the medicine. So I make this piece to myself as my own therapy, just to say it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel sad. So, and this piece started made me realize that I want to put narrative aspect in my work. And then moving on, I realized there's only so much I can do by myself. So I tried to figure out how to assemble parts cold but not visible. And I also try to explore anywhere else that I can do glass, like besides hot sculpting. So I try to make molds. You can see there's a piece of sheet glass slumping on it. It's me trying to figure out positive and negative space. And this work is dedicated to the people who helped me through my journey. I was exhausted every day because I did not have any day off because I work daytime till like 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday. And if I want to practice, I have to stay at night. So I start at midnight till 4 a.m. And then next day, I go back to work at 8. For weekend, I work from morning till production end. So I didn't have a lot of time to rest, but I was so grateful at that time because I had a relatively stable income, and I had all the resources I need. Whenever I have a question, I know who to go to, and I still figure out a way to blow glass, and that's my first priority. I felt like I was living in a dream that I can do whatever my heart told me to, and I know there will be someone I can trust to guide me through this journey. And in 2020, I had to leave home because of a complicated political situation. I was so lost, I had to resign all my jobs, and I contacted Robin Rogers, which I took his class in urban glass. I only met him once, but he asked me to come to the Chrysler Museum of Art, so I have a safe place to work, and I have a spot to think about what to do next. So I went there in 2020 when COVID hit, so it's a very tricky timing to leave my home. And I went there for 6 months for my assistantship program. I do public demonstration, and I officially learned how to work with equipments and how to like properly build things. And I also got a lot of support from the beautiful community there. I cannot be more grateful for that 6 months. And during my time there, I made a lot of works because then I have people to actually work with. So I make a lot of works, and then I apply to a lot of different things. Wherever I can apply, I just go apply to like different competition and exhibition. And this one got into the Pittsburgh Glass Center annual auction, and then it got me a residency in the Pittsburgh Glass Center. This is a work called I Want to Make You Proud. This is a work for my parents because I'm Asian. Asian parents, typically they don't like you doing art, especially doing glass. They have no idea what I'm doing. They still have no idea what I'm doing. The only thing they know is I get burned a lot. This is the work to tell them I try to act as brave as I can out there so people know I can do good. I'm doing good at what I'm doing. And after all, what I want to do is I want to make you proud. And when I go to Pittsburgh Glass Center, I continue to make my work with the help of Zach, who works there. I try to continue to tell my stories with more little detail elements in there. This work is about my decision of leaving home. So in 2020, I have to leave home, but I still count there as home. I just don't have a plan or a way to bring myself back there yet. I have been traveling, and sometimes I feel like I packed my soul in a suitcase, that I carrying on my dreams and passion in glass without a place that I can actually settle down yet. And then when I was at the Chrysler Museum of Art, I also applied for a grad school. So in 2021, I started studying in Southern Illinois University under Jiyoung Lee. For my first year of my MFA, I was not allowed to make things that we used to make. Jiyoung is very good at breaking down every single idea you have as small as possible and have you to figure out what is actually important to you. I was struggling that time, like a lot of students. I didn't know why I'm making my works. I didn't have answer for most of the question being asked. I feel so isolated. I feel like I blocked myself in my own mind. I started to question myself, so I make this work to express my frustration without actually having a human body in there, just taking elements out and see how many elements I can take out and still be able to share what I want to share. Then I also try to challenge myself with the size that I can make. This is a little like toddler size. I was focusing on human relationship at that time. I thought a lot about the anxiety I have when I'm around people, and I try to visualize the struggle. This work manifests the word I live and said in my relationship to avoid communicating verbally, because self-disclosure is a crucial part in intimate relationship. But in my culture, revealing your true thoughts is exposing your weaknesses. So I try to make these to show you this is how I feel when I'm around people. You can see in this figure, it has eyes everywhere. It's so alert of its surrounding, and the limbs are locking to each other. This is me trying to visualize social anxiety. This work is hanging from the ceiling, walking on a wire. I don't think you can see the wire, but there's a wire hanging on there. And with a very weak sonar sound coming out from the figure. This is how I feel about glass blowing, especially I work with sculpting a lot. Most of my work require lots of planning and teamwork. And you know it's very hard to keep your brain sharp when you're exhausted in the heat. That's why you need your team to back you up. I trust the people I work with 100%. Sometimes it sounds pretty sketchy, but as long as I'm on the hot floor, I know I have to. With the faith I have with these people, I can walk on wire without my eyes. As long as you hold my hand, I know I'll be safe. And the picture on the right is the person I work with at the time I was studying. That's Chris Powell. They're the very, very strong assistant I ever have. I figured a lot of my anxiety in my work is coming from I'm lacking of a sense of belonging. So then I start to look back to where I'm from and started my current research. This picture of Hong Kong in 2014 shows what happened political-wise back then. It still looked pretty peaceful, but just so you know, this is how we were. This is how the government was treating us when we only have an umbrella in our hands. They were holding real bullets behind us. And this is the picture from 2019. If you didn't know what I mean by complicated political situation in Hong Kong, this is how bad it was. In 2019, there's a huge protest fighting for the extradition law in Hong Kong because the Chinese government is trying to put that law on us. That means if you got arrested in Hong Kong, they can send you to jail in China, which is pretty unacceptable because we have different law. So it doesn't make sense if you break a law here and you got sent to jail in a different places. And there was tear gas and real bullets and water cannon trucks. All we had is an umbrella and some bricks. And yet the government said we are rioters. That was my whole summer in 2019, running for my life with a handwritten will in my pocket. I was running in the protest and there was a tear gas shoot right next to my left leg. That is the moment I know I do not belong to here anymore. The government was trying to kill us all. I have to leave home. So I came to the United States in 2020, and my desire to find a community to call home grows stronger and stronger since then. And obviously, I'm not the only one with that struggle. This character there is Lo Teng. A bunch of artists held an exhibition to express their feeling about the handover in 1997. It was the first time this mythological character was used to represent the unsettled identity of Hong Kong people. According to the Book of Monster written in Eastern Jin Dynasty, the half-fish, half-man creature are living nearby the Hong Kong district. They look like fish and good at waving. They cry a lot and their tears make pearls. This is a print from another artist in the same exhibition. He's a Taiwanese. And the text on the right said, something tragical happening to Hong Kong people because of the handover. They lost the freedom of speech and were thrown to the sea because of careless talking. They were then turned into Lo Teng stuck in the middle of land and sea. They will live their life tragically like this forever, no matter how hard they cry. The artist built up this story consciously to describe the circumstances of Hong Kongese from a third person's perspective. Hong Kong does not belong to Britain or China. We are struggling in the middle, just like Lo Teng. I then took use of this mythological character and start to find a way to put my own voice in this character. This is the first Lo Teng I ever made in glass. And then I tried to put a little narrative aspect into this character, just like what I used to do. This Lo Teng is holding two clear plastic puppet talking to each other because it can't talk and no one understands its word. This is how I felt when I was so tired and my first language, Cantonese, just slipped out of my mouth. People around me would look at me so confused, have no idea what I'm talking. That was the moment I realized that people would never actually understand my little murmur. Just a year after I made this work, I went to travel with my friend and she told me I was sleep talking in English. And that shocked me. At the same time makes me realize the Hong Kong part of me is fading away. It is very scary. I try so hard to grip on my Hong Kong identity. What if, after all, I just blend into the crowd and become one of the people surrounded? This is an ongoing question I ask myself every day. With my Lo Teng series, I got a 2-month residency in Belgium in Glasshouse, and I have my friend James Deverell came down to help me create more works about my unresolved identity. This work is now there staying as their collection. Submarine has a lot of meaning for me. When people talk about submarine, it's not a safe place, and definitely not a place to find comfort. But for me, it means home. I had only made 2 submarines in my life. The first one was the last piece I made in Hong Kong before I left. I was going through a tough time and I feel like I'm sinking in the ocean. So I decided to make this submarine as a metaphor of the last hope before I drowned. That night was the first time I have a chance to work with students, and also the last chance, because that night protests went very bad. We were working in the hot shop with the rioters alarm on the street going on all night. The next day, school stopped. The whole city stopped. that point, I realized the people I work with in the hot shop, they were my submarine that protects me from the craziness of the outside world. They kept me safe and company that night. I was still drowning. The world was still going insane. But I felt like home at that moment. That's why the submarine is in an egg shape, like a protection for the person inside. I was having a lot of pressure during my residency there in Belgium. It was a tough time that I had to face them all alone. And without me reaching out, my friend James came all the way from the UK to assist me during my residency, just because he said he wanted to listen to my stories. That means a lot to me. And that moment, I feel like I'm home. And back to school, I just graduated with my degree last summer. This is some picture of my thesis show in between. As you can see, I filled that whole room with basically a curtain. All the works is covered behind this curtain. That's a curtain that patched from a lot of small little fabrics. In a lot of different places, especially in Hong Kong, it is a sign, a symbol of blessing. If you want to give a newborn baby your blessing, you make a quilt. Similar idea there. I hide every pieces behind that quilt because I'm sharing my identity and my story with you, but I want you to understand this is a very special part of my heart. It's a very special part and important little part of me in there. I can share this story with you, but I need you to respect that there's a boundary in there. And in the corner, there's a floating hat hanging on a fishing hook with a lens, convex lens there. It's looking on a projection I made. So there's a actually very long animation I made. It's showed upside down. So the only way to see the image correct, you have to look through that convex lens. And because of that convex lens, when you look into it, you have a double vision. It's a very unpleasant experience. This is how I want to tell audience, if you want to understand my story, this is how unpleasant it is. And this is one of the work inside the curtain. It's me holding on the Hong Kong orchid. It is the flower album of Hong Kong. This is the last flower in my hand that I'm trying to chase for hope and light. Hong Kong is fading away for no doubt. No matter what, Chinese government is gonna take it over, it's just a fact. And I want to freeze this moment because it's so special and it's an important memory of me. And this work is now in Czech Republic showing. And after I graduate, now I'm working in a high school in Chicago. This is my daily work, doing a lot of small demonstration, making different notes, telling students how to work in the hot shop. I'm having a good time drawing out all these little notes. It's like reminding myself all the way from the beginning how to actually properly work in the studio. This is one of the more recent work that I make. I'm being pretty slow in making my own work just because this past year I'm working on changing my visa, getting a working permit, and trying to move from a city to another. So that's not much too exciting, but I'm also trying to figure out how to electroplate glass so I can put patina on it so you can see that helmet on that diving suit, that's copper on top. And this is another work that I'm working on. And this is my website and contact information. I've only working with glass for a couple years. I just started, and yet this material surprised me every day. And I hope you enjoy this. Thank you.